All right, let's jump right in. When you think of a multi-billion-dollar tech company, what comes to mind? Probably some shiny glass skyscraper in Bengaluru, or maybe even Silicon Valley, right? Well, what if I told you one of the most revolutionary business models in the world today is built not from a high rise, but from a paddy field in a tiny village in Tamil Nadu? Seriously. This is the incredible story of Zoho. But before we get into it, I've got a question for you. For decades, the path to a great career in India meant one thing: packing your bags and hopping on a one-way train to a big city. It's a story millions of us know. But does it really have to be that way? What if the best job in the world could actually come to you? You see, to really get what Zoho is doing, we first have to understand the problem they're solving. The very system that built India's incredible tech hubs was also creating this massive silent crisis, a great Indian brain drain. Not to other countries, but from our own villages to just a handful of overcrowded cities. Think of it like this, kind of like a giant funnel. For years and years, all the talent, all the ambition, all the brightest young minds from thousands of villages were just channeled in one single direction. Now, this put huge pressure on the cities, but more importantly, it left the countryside hollowed out, drained of its most valuable resource, its own people. And here's the real kicker. The system was obsessed with these super expensive degrees that often taught outdated theoretical stuff. It created what you could call a degree delusion. You had an entire generation with a piece of paper in hand, but without the practical, real-world skills needed to actually do the job. The cost here wasn't just economic, This mass migration was tearing apart the social fabric of our communities. It left villages without their young people and created a generation of urban workers who were disconnected from their roots, often living these isolated, high-pressure lives so far from home. But then, one person decided to make a massive bet against this entire system. In 2019, Sridhar Vembu, the billionaire founder of Zoho, did something absolutely unthinkable. He didn't move his company to a bigger city. He moved himself from Silicon Valley back to Mathlampare, a tiny village in rural India. And let me tell you, this was not a retirement plan. It was the start of a revolution. His entire strategy, his whole philosophy, is built on this one simple yet totally profound idea. Instead of forcing talented people to chase opportunity, he asks a different question. Why don't we just take the opportunity directly to where the talent already lives? This one shift in thinking changes absolutely everything. So how would he actually do it? I mean, this wasn't just some nice idea. It was a carefully planned out business strategy. Let's break down the two core pillars of the Zoho playbook, which are designed to completely upend that broken system we talked about. So the first pillar is so radical, you could honestly call it the university killer. Instead of fighting over graduates from expensive engineering colleges, Zoho decided to do something completely different. They just decided to create their own talent, right from scratch. Okay, check this out. First, they recruit kids right after 12th grade from local towns. No fancy degree needed. Then they give them purely practical, hands-on training for what they need. But here's the most incredible part. The students pay zero fees. In fact, Zoho pays them a stipend just to learn. And the final step? The vast majority are hired as full-time Zoho employees. It's genius. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. The old way demands crazy high scores, it leaves you with lax in debt, and offers zero job guarantee. The Zoho way, on the other hand, just looks for aptitude and a hunger to learn, pays you to learn real-world skills, and then gives you a high-paying tech job. It's a win-win-win for the student, for the company, and for the local community. Now, the second pillar is just as game-changing. Instead of building one massive central campus in a big city, Zoho started building a distributed network of smaller offices in Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns, and even in villages. They call it the rural office grid. And the benefits are just huge. Their operating costs are way, way lower. Their employees are happier and more loyal because they're close to their families, which means people aren't leaving all the time. But here's the most important part. These aren't just some back-office call centers. These are legit, cutting-edge R&D hubs building complex, global software. They're proving that real innovation doesn't need a city zip code. So we've seen the what and the how, but what about the so what? Let's talk about the incredible impact this model has on the ground. It creates this powerful ripple effect that can literally lift up an entire region. Take this number. Over 500. That's how many people work at Zoho's flagship rural office in Tenkasi. But it's so much more than a number. That's 500 high-tech careers. That's 500 families who are empowered to build their lives in their own hometown.
That's 500 reasons for a whole community to be optimistic about its future.
And the impact, it doesn't just stop there. A high-tech office like this one creates a whole ecosystem around it. Suddenly, local real estate is booming, restaurants and shops are thriving, and you've got this whole network of local suppliers with new business. One single office can become the economic engine for an entire community. It's amazing. So Sridhar Vembu's experiment, well, it's not really an experiment anymore. It's a proven, profitable, and scalable business model. Which really makes you wonder, is this a blueprint for the future of the entire Indian economy? When you boil it down, the Zoho blueprint teaches us a few powerful lessons. It shows us you can be a global competitor while staying deeply, deeply local. You can build a business that is decentralized, fair, and strong. But the biggest lesson of all, it proves you don't have to force talent to move to opportunity. You can, and you probably should, take the opportunity to the talent. And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. For decades, we've just accepted this idea that the only path to success is to leave home. But after seeing the Zoho model in action, we have to ask ourselves, why are we still forcing our best and brightest to leave when we now have a proven blueprint to take the best jobs in the world right to them?
If you found this breakdown as fascinating as I did, make sure you subscribe to Finologix. We've got a lot more explainers coming your way on the businesses and ideas that are truly shaping our future. Stay curious.